Okay. One of the minhagim on Shavuos is to stay up the first night of Shavuos. As I mentioned, the previous shiur, it's not brought in the Torah or in the Gemara or the Poskim Rishonim, such a thing. It's by the first posek l'choira who brought it was the Mogen Avraham, and they quote the Zohar and they quote the Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. Now, why I'm saying that? Okay, but still, that's the minhag. So I'll tell you what nafkamina. If somebody knows because he's going to stay up the Shavuos night, he's going to miss Krishma the next day, or he's not going to daven Shachris the next day, so it's a very important minhag to stay up the night, but not to compromise your davening, or not to have Krishma. It's mitzvah d'oraisa to say Krishma on time. So that's why you have to manage the time right. That should be able, either you said before you go to sleep after Alois HaShachar, you say your Shema Yisrael, or you get up on time if you want to sleep before Alois, you say Krishma. That's, like I said, that's very important, but not important enough to compromise any other mitzvahs. Okay, so it's brought, the Kavachaim brings from the Zohar like this. Isa b'Zohar Pashas Emor. Chasidei kadmo elavu naime b'hai leila. The Hasidim or Rishonim, they didn't go to sleep that night. V'ovu lon b'oraisa. And they said, they learned the Torah, and said like this, Amar neise la'achsona yirusa kadisha lon v'levon basrin almin. When you learn Torah that night, they said, let us inherit the Torah for us and for our children. So this is the learning tonight. It's a big segula to the Torah should continue also to the children. He said, like this, it brings from the Shara Kavonis, from the Arizal, V'daki, kol mishelo yishon b'layla hazois klal. Afilu rega echad, v'ya oisek b'Torah kol halayla. Anybody that's not going to sleep that night and learn Torah the whole night, muftach loi sheyashlim shnosoi, v'lo yira lo shum nezek b'shana ahi. Arizal gives a promise. Nothing bad can happen to you this year.
Life insurance.
V'lo oid, ela shehoros chaya odom b'shana hahi, tluyo b'inyan zeh. Kimim loishan klal vaday shelo yomos b'shana hahi v'day b'zeh. So again, I'm just being a messenger. I don't promise anything, but that's what the promise of the Arizal. If you don't, yeah. And it's interesting that in the Mogen Avraham and Hilchas Rosh Hashanah, when they spoke over there, I think the Ramah bring over there that not to sleep on Rosh Hashanah because Shema Yishon Mazol. They say if it talks about till Chatzos, the whole day, whatever. But the Mogen Avraham brings something important over there. Mogen Avraham says you should know who botel keyoshan domi. Yeah, the minhag is not to sleep Rosh Hashanah, but if you hoilech bottle, you do nothing, it's like you're sleeping. Something tonight, if you stay up the whole night and you osek b'dvarim b'teilim, it's like sleeping. So the promise is that you're not sleeping and you osek b'toira. V'lochen poshet aminag ez b'Yisrael asek b'toira kolel chag haShavuos. Yeah, and he brings the atam al pipshat is that Yisrael yeshenim kol halayla. To wake them up. This is a medrash Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. Like I said, it's not brought in the Gemara, but that's how far it goes. Either the Zohar Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. So then he brings over here. He brings it l'choira b'shem atzma, but I saw the same thing that when the Shchai brings. So like this: Yizaru shelo ledaber sichas chulin kol halayla v'chol shken dvarim b'teilim. So sometimes it's maybe important conversation on politics or whatever important, you want to save the world, but it says that night you should be careful not to speak dvarim b'teilim. B'frad u'mogvesh asepas anoshim shedarka she'esor lachshilam ledaber divrei choil. U'midover ledover yavu yichashon dvarim asurim or divrei schok v'kalus rosh. Kekedoyle kedusha ze halayla v'alimud oisa pri l'mayla. V'alken tzorich liyos zach v'noki b'li taruvas dvarim acherim. Gam yeh b'cheshek godol v'simcha rabba, it should be, you do it not as like a yoke, never have to stab the whole night, you do it b'simcha, you do it with obviously that takes a good preparation that the day before, you maybe take a...
When is the time to begin this night? Before Chatzos or after Chatzos?
Right after the meal, right after the meal.
How long is the meal?
Okay, so right after the meal, you got started to learn. You're not, tonight you cannot be over bottled. So
Even before Chatzos.
yeah, why not? It says that the night should not be any night. Tonight especially, yeah. They say that the Baruch Mezhebezer, he was more serious, more careful with Erev Shavuos and Shavuos more than Rosh Hashanah. They asked him, Rosh Hashanah, everybody is trembling, Yom Adin, how it's going to be. He says very partially, he says. Rosh Hashanah, he says, is decided for the whole year, how it's going to be the year of Gashmi. He says, by me, the Gashmi is not as though wichtig, not as though, so it will be better, not so good. But Rosh Shavuos says it decided the whole year how you're going to be your spiritual year, your learning Torah. That's my more Nageh Benefesh says. I'm more. He was more serious about this. So we have to be careful how we prepare and how we behave on Shavuos. Then he brings like this. He brings from the Psikta. It's important. We b'derech klal we look at Yom Tovim like something in the history. And it's known from Baal Shem Tov. It says Akores HaMegillah Mafreya Lo Yotzo, the Mishnah in Megillah. If you read the Pashtus, if you read the Megillah backwards, you're not Yotzo. Baal Shem Tov says the pshat in the Mishnah over there. He says if you read the Megillah backwards, like you read it as a history. It's happened in the past. Lo Yotza. That's not how you Yotza with Kriyas Megillah and Purim. You have to believe it's happening right now. That's you have to look at that. It's re-happening, and that's the Taz also bring what we said by Shos Anisim. Lavasena Baimam Bezman Azeh. The Taz says all this inyanim Baimam Mehem is misoirer Bezman Azeh. So Mameli brings over here. It brings from the Psikta when we go on Shavuos to hear the Kriyas HaTorah. Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu LiYisrael Bonai Heyu Korim as a parsha as a b'chol shana v'shana the parsha of Aseres HaDibros v'ani ma'aleh alechem ki latem omdim lifnei Har Sinai u'mekabelim as HaTorah shana b'yom hazeh bo midvar Sinai. B'yom hazeh meaning every year we read the parsha of Matan Torah of Aseres HaDibros. Hashem says like you mekabel the Torah now. So it gives a whole new perspective how we go to listen, and that's why the Rebbe also is to recommend that every man, woman, children, because the Kabbalah Satoirim from even Kechadoshim, like we're receiving it today. Okay. Then he brings that Nochen, the notion of all the poskim that says Nochen Umet B'Thilim B'Yom Chag HaShavuos, they bring the notion Lilmoid. We're not learning Tehillim, we're reading, but that's what they write over there. Maybe because it says that we when you say Tehillim, it's Ma'ale Olav because Kilo that you learn Sugyas Taharas V'Aholos. That was the David HaMelech Bakosha. People when they say Tehillim, it should be like the learning Sugyas of deep Sugyas of the Gemara. But Lamaisa it says you should say Tehillim. Say Tehillim during Shavuos. Why? Because that's the Yortzeit of David HaMelech. He brings from the Yerushalmi that David HaMelech passed away. We know from the Gemara Shabbos he passed away on Shabbos, but the Yerushalmi says it was Shavuos. Shabbos Shavuos. So that's why we should. That's an inyan they bring from the Chidah. That we should. It's important to say Tehillim on that day, and the day of the Yortzeit of David HaMelech.